Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a chilling historical true crime. We spend so much time studying history's great heroes, right? But today, we're going to examine a villain, someone whose single, calculated whisper caused absolute mass destruction. It's an ancient story, sure, but the psychology behind it is incredibly relevant to us right now. One man destroyed lives with a whisper, and almost no one remembers his name. Meet Doeg the Edomite. It's kind of wild how history often celebrates heroes, but quietly buries the names of villains whose actions completely change the course of countless lives. Doeg appears only briefly in the historical text, yet his betrayal was so incredibly devastating that it serves as a lasting warning about ambition without a conscience. As you'll see, it really proves how selfish choices leave unseen, lasting scars on literally everyone they touch.
Part 1. The Silent Observer. David flees to Nob.
Okay, let's set the scene because a simple act of charity is about to become a death sentence. On day 1, the future king, David, is fleeing for his life. He's running from the current monarch, King Saul, who has just become entirely consumed by jealousy and fear. Fast forward to day 5. Desperate, exhausted, and hungry, David seeks refuge in a town called Nob. There, the priest Ahimelech, completely believing he's just helping a loyal servant of the king, gives David some bread and the sword of the defeated giant Goliath. But standing right nearby was Doeg. Doeg happened to be Saul's chief herdsman, and he just stood there watching everything. At first glance, he seemed like nothing more than a silent observer. Yet behind that quiet presence, his mind was racing, actively preparing to weaponize this perfectly innocent exchange.
Part 2. A Deadly Whisper. Truth Twisted by Intent.
Later on, a highly paranoid King Saul accuses his own servants of disloyalty. He's furious, and nobody dares to say a word to him. Well, nobody except Doeg, who sees a golden opportunity. So Doeg steps up, and his account to the king? It was technically true, but intentionally incomplete. He deliberately omitted the most important detail, Ahimelech's total innocence. Doeg completely framed the narrative to make it look as though the priest had knowingly and treasonously aided a fugitive.
Which brings us to the half-truth, a factual statement twisted by malicious intent to intentionally omit crucial context. This perfectly captures the psychology of Doeg's betrayal. Think about it. He didn't even have to invent a complete lie. He just had to withhold the context. By presenting these cherry-picked, manipulated facts, Doeg completely inflamed King Saul's paranoia. It's a terrifying proof that even 100% truthful facts can become deadly when they're twisted by malicious intent. Doeg knew exactly what Saul wanted to hear, and he delivered it on a silver platter, fully aware of the violent reaction it was going to provoke.
Part 3. The Cost of Ambition. A Massacre at Nob.
So Saul is now blinded by rage, and he orders his royal guards to execute the priests of Nob. But here is where it gets really interesting. The guards actually refuse. They recognize the command as undeniably wicked, and they bravely chose not to stain their hands with innocent blood. It's an amazing moment, proving that true courage sometimes means saying no to authority. But Doeg had absolutely no such hesitation. He demonstrated that blind obedience is not genuine faithfulness. Instead, he chose to sacrifice his integrity for some ruthless opportunism.
85. Let that number sink in for a second. Because the royal guards refused that immoral order, Doeg stepped right in and carried it out without a single shred of mercy. 85 innocent priests were slaughtered in a single day by Doeg's hand. You see, what made Doeg so dangerous wasn't overwhelming military power or strength. It was a heart completely untouched by compassion. He acted without a moment of hesitation.
And as if the slaughter of 85 priests wasn't horrifying enough, Doeg didn't stop there. He actually continued into the city of Nob. Driven by this dark ambition that just vastly outweighed his conscience, he wiped out men, women, children, infants, and even the livestock. It became one of the absolute most chilling acts of mass violence recorded in the Old Testament. It shows us that ordinary people can become instruments of extraordinary destruction when they silence their moral convictions. The total destruction of Nob is the ultimate tragic proof of that.
Part 4. A timeless warning. David's realization. As you can imagine, David was absolutely crushed when he learned what had happened. It hit him that seeing Doeg in Nob that day had foreshadowed this exact disaster. In response to this heavy guilt and sorrow, David penned Psalm 52, addressing Doeg directly. He wrote, "A tongue like a sharp razor, loving evil more than good."
Notice how David doesn't praise Doeg's strength or even his cleverness. Instead, he exposes the total emptiness of a life built on deceit. This gives us a really timeless lesson. Destruction doesn't start when swords are drawn. No, it begins in a heart that delights in lies and a mouth willing to spread them.
Part 5. The disguises of evil, hiding in plain sight.
Now, most of us listening to this explainer are never going to stand before a king deciding the fate of a nation. But here's the thing, evil rarely announces itself with some dramatic, villainous speech. Instead, it arrives in everyday disguises. It looks like a great new opportunity. It looks like career advancement. It looks like political loyalty, or just basic self-preservation. Gossip can completely destroy reputations, and half-truths can permanently break relationships. Selfish ambition is constantly tempting us to sacrifice our integrity, sometimes just for a little bit of recognition.
So while Doeg probably felt completely victorious in that moment, trading his conscience for a bit of temporary favor with the king, his legacy actually became one of absolute shame. I mean, think about it. Kings eventually fall, positions disappear, earthly rewards fade away. David, who was the one being hunted and was literally homeless, eventually became history's greatest king of Israel. Meanwhile, Doeg's so-called success just faded into a legacy of eternal disgrace. When you achieve success by abandoning justice, mercy, or truth, it isn't actually success at all. It is literally just failure in disguise.
Ultimately, every single decision you make either shapes you into a person of integrity or it gradually hardens your heart. Every conversation presents a very real choice between truth and manipulation. This forgotten villain of Nob, Doeg, he still speaks across the centuries today, urging us to guard our words and really deeply examine our motives. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question. When you speak and when you influence the people around you, are you choosing to heal or are you choosing to harm?